Sorry, I'm just distracted by the window. Oh, a very Jamaican guy going past, having quite a passionate conversation, and also just giving my neck chance to have a bit of a tweak. Been a bit of a day of rest today, really. I've sort of switched out today, and it has been a crazy one as well because even though it hasn't been a day of rest and I've been sort of still doing things, it's sort of been a day of right, finally, I can rest. I'm moving. It's done. I don't have to be pushing. I don't have to be nagging. I've agreed. It's accepted. I've signed the keys. I haven't got any of this stress anymore as is it going together? Are we changing benefits over? What's happening? What's not happening? So all that is over. So, and it's been such a long time as well. I know somebody even posted a couple of months back or even a year back, like, oh, it's become about this one bedroom house and blah, blah, blah. But like this is somebody pushing. I've been talking to another mum today who, she said she's been pushing like 12 years to try to get her son the correct help at school and even her for a move and how much she can't cope with being here. And I can remember when I first got here and people were telling me like they've been here 35 years and 40 years and 18 years and 20 years. And then I met this woman here who I thought, oh yeah, she's really cool and like she's quick to get out of here and stuff. And then it turned out she'd been here like 11 years and people were telling me like there's no way of getting out of here. It's like once in, never out, and people don't want a house swap to here and things like that, and it's quite difficult to get out of. But that's people's belief systems, isn't it? I actually met another woman today who feels the same, so I've introduced her to House Swap, and she's got such a beautiful, home that she won't have difficulties switching over from a two-bedroom in there. Not chat, definitely. Um, so yeah, so today has just been sort of a day where I sort of woke up and I wanted to get on, but I then realised, hang on a minute, I can't just jump in the car, take the paints that I've got sitting over there, take some duvets and bits for the boys to have slept in tonight and got some painting and the cleaning and done stuff like that. I thought, well, I can't get on with that. So then I thought, like, okay, I'll speak to the health visitor about little bits that I'm thinking about that I've got to do and how to do them and things like that because like people don't understand when you're a single mother and you don't have family and it's exactly the same as being an entrepreneur at the beginning of your business and you have to be all of the hats and you have to be everything and all of the hands and things like that. So it's like all of these jobs that I've got to do, and I'm one person and I'm struggling as it is. I spoke just literally before I signed for the keys. I actually spoke to the scanning department and they said that I should have refused. But I felt that I'm not in that situation yet, so I don't need to think about it. And it didn't matter what property that I got here in Portsmouth, it was always going to just be a temporary home. So I've had so many things sort of wobbling around my head today that I just felt rather than battle and fight and deal with things, and I've had a lot of people coming in that are using this time for help. Like I've been able to get the contract for a family here that were literally at destitute, and hopefully that's going to give them a hand. And not only that, because they're linked with the managers, maybe they'll get more and more opportunities to do paid moving and things like that. But then there's been other stuff as well, like getting used to just not doing the house today and not trying to push for this routine that I've been trying to get in this flat this whole time I've been here, but it's just been like this uphill struggle this whole time, and it's just been this banging against the brick wall. So it's just been nice to just stop. And I have spoken to Dean today, and we are still talking, and he hasn't understood all of this time about the way that this system works with benefits. And it's really shit when it comes to couples. It really is. I actually went on the Universal Credits website today and I was looking at, what the entitlement is, how it works, blah, 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 blah. And I looked at the thing for where it's like personal payment, and I think it was something like £374 or something like that for a single person over 24. And then it said couple, and it was 500 and something. And I calculated it together, and I thought, no wonder so many couples live separate. And then I thought, because at the end of the day, if they're both equally just on that one bolt, it's easier for them to have rent and council tax paid and independent money on 2 homes? Or is it really that way? Because I've been really upset by the council with the way they've treated Dean, because at the end of the day, like, he's trying to get his career saved and he's doing it on a shirt skin. He could go and get a job. He could. I was the one who said, and I always never ever forget Rocky, and it was Sylvester Stallone, and it was the film Rocky. And we're here, are we? Hello, we're back. Sorry, I got completely kicked out. So at the end of the day, forget it being Kelly and Dean. Just take man and woman, right? And don't forget, I'm coming from a perspective of somebody who years, way before I came onto this campaign track with like Fathers for Justice, New Fathers for Justice, Families Need Fathers, and all of the fathers sort of movement away from forced adoption. And just on note for forced adoption, if anyone's seen the Forced Adoption Exposed website that was originally taken over by Monique Blakemore, who was the woman who spoke at the United Nations for me, somebody else has picked that website up before I could, and they've actually done quite a piss take nasty. In fact, they've sabotaged pretty much everything with what's going on with the film and journalists and stuff at the moment. However, I have actually had copies of messages between Lisa Bartle, who's the person who's caused me goodness knows how much shit all the way through this, and more so since she has gone on about this money situation, which she's created herself, by the way. It all will be in the book, but on these statements, it actually shows and proves that between Lisa and her 5 cronies of whatever people that want to do it, that they've brought the site and done it, and apparently they're about to do something else. So I've got all that going on as well, because it's like, that's just not a battle I'm going to fight yet. I'm going to fight that later, because everything that I want to show in this book that I'm doing is showing how people persecute people. It's like, I've been posting loads of videos up today on how people misjudge people and their situations, and how they treat people in that misjudgment, and things that they say and things that they do. But in these videos that I've been posting today, there is obviously been the opportunity where people have gone up to them and say, you know, like, I'm so sorry that I misjudged you. I'm so sorry that, you know, I got that wrong. But can you really ever take those hurts back? And there was one particular video, and it was just the fact that the mother was meeting her son's partner for the first time, and she stood up, but he sort of was helping out. He was doing everything and trying to explain that they had this appointment to go on to, and she was really, really nasty to this girl, like she will never be part of her family and everything like that. And they were actually trying to tell her that they were expecting, and then all of a sudden she's excited because she's got this grandmother, this grandchild. And I'm thinking, you will never, if that was a true story, because it's hypothetical, it's videos, but if that was a true story, that relationship between that daughter-in-law and mother-in-law would never, ever, ever be the relationship that it could have and should have been, because it was tarnished by such vulgar words that said you will never be part of this family. And when I first ever got into psychology, way before I even made the decision to go into psychology, one of the things that I could never ever get my head around was why the people in the room with me, which when I was a kid was multi-agency, so they still had the multi-agency framework. It was just done under, what was it called? It was called looked after conference or whatever it was. I can't remember what it was. But it was all those sort of meetings with psychiatrists and social workers and all these people. And I always came out never feeling like I was heard, never feeling like there was anybody who understood what I was saying. And I went on this whole thing, the art of communication, all of this sort of stuff, talking to people, these ways to do it. But it felt so manipulative. It felt like sales and things like that. My mum's a big person for all of this, the sting in the sale and all of that sort of stuff, how people manipulate through psychology and things like that to get what they want, and all this sort of like success things and things like that. But all that aside, like, when it comes to like getting into relationship with people, like, everyone comes I'm 42, so as a 42-year-old woman right now, as a single 42-year-old woman, actually, really, I'm not married. My giftedine is still around my neck. It will probably always be around my neck. And I think if this doesn't, if I find at Christmas, like, you know, I'm alone with the boys and whatever, then yeah, I feel sorry for any person who ever tries to enter into my life in a way of coming in as a relationship. I would heed warning to any person who tried to come into my life as me as a single person, woman, and certainly as a mother as well. Because with that, I come with the emotional baggage that me and Dean have not severed our soul ties between each other. That still exists, that's still going on. For whatever damage or way we communicate right now would take a complete freaking intervention. But we here in the UK don't have that system. We have Relate, and then everything that we have based on anything to do with relationships, unless it's through a church with marriage or mediation through potential divorce, is all based on perpetrator control. It's all police based. It's all done on crisis management. So all the funding comes through the police to deal with domestic violence after it's happened. There isn't any sort of real proper system. Relate is not, I don't know, I've never actually been through Relate. So if anyone's ever been through Relate, please tell me. And obviously it's paying private. For people who are on benefits, there is obviously the concession, but it's about investing in your relationship, isn't it? And how many people have ever been taught to invest in a relationship? I think every marriage should have its marriage counselor. I think it should be. I think one of the biggest problems that we've got in this world is that couples, married couples more so, are not supported in the way, say, single mums are supported. I think single mums have got their own proper, their own challenges in itself. But I think when somebody like me is in a relationship, everybody expects the man to do everything. And it's like, well, there's this relationship between the woman, and the dynamics and everything has changed so much now. And it's like, I think because my father was the way that he was, I've had this expectation my whole life that this is the way of the man. This is the role of the man. Like my dad, I don't ever remember my dad being mechanically way out. He wasn't somebody who tinkered around with cars. I don't I don't ever remember seeing him taking a car to a garage or anything like that. But he was certainly hands-on when it came to the house. My dad would put walls up, knock the walls down, build things in the garden, build the conservatory. I watched my dad build houses. I watched my dad build houses from his bare hands. Do you know what I mean? And as a little girl growing up watching your father, and I don't think people really, really understand how mothers and fathers being in their true gift zone and their true world, like so many parents just shut their kids off from their working world, and they get up and they go to work, and nobody really knows. And I speak to so many men as well, where they say that they get up and go to work and their wives don't know anything really about their lives at work, and the husbands don't really know anything about their wives. And we've been so separated into this way of living where, like, as a family, people just get up, they go out the door, dad goes in that direction, mum goes in that direction, kids go in that direction, and then they come home, and then still they're all going off in different directions. And I think one thing that church always taught me, especially more within the Mormon church, is the value of that family tea time. But I've never, ever, ever had these true family dynamics that I wish that our society had. And I think it's really sad, because I think this is how everything connects, this stuff between the state, the education system, the fact that we live under, here in the UK, under Henry VIII divorce culture. And I look at the world around us, and me and Zara, we've had really good conversation tonight. And it was something just very, very, very simple. I literally threw my kids at my neighbor today because I'd come in and I still can't find them. I've only just gone through this fucking bank card thing. I've only just got my bank cards. And literally, I went to go out and I thought, oh, I keep them in. Hello there. I keep them in this, if you can see it. So I keep my bank cards in the back of my phone. And I ran out and I said to the kids, "Oh, I've left them on the side because I was doing something because I just didn't want to go out today, and I did my delivery thing, and I couldn't find my bank cards. And then all of a sudden, I thought, shit, I've lost my bank cards downstairs because I'd gone downstairs to prepare to take all the stuff into the van that's being picked up with all the car boot shit to get rid of all of that so I can access the boxes that I need to bring up here." And I'm in like this, what do you call it? It's like I've got to go in this direction 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 at the moment, and it's like fucking running mazes to be able to go to go A B C D, and it's like A F K Y Z. So anyway, she was having a really shit day because a washing machine doesn't work, and I'd had a conversation with Dean, and for the first time ever, Dean has been actually happy about me interacting with somebody here because Zara's a lovely lady, right? And obviously, a lot of people here have got bad habits that he doesn't want around me and his children. So he's not so happy about certain particular interactions that I have with people. He gets certain ones, and I think being a man coming home here and having to listen to Graham outside calling for my Kelly, is an interesting thing. But then if you know Graham is different. But we were talking today, and I'd made a comment to Dean about how lovely Zara's home is, and he went, "Oh, I bet it is. I bet she's a proper wife." And I said, "Yeah, but she had a proper husband, mate. He laid the carpets, put the things up, and made all these things." Two women here, separated. So anyway, Zara's washing machine has gone. So she's had to ring up somebody, and she's been quoted something between 50 and 80 pounds for them to come out and tell her what is up with her washing machine. And of course, as an Israeli woman, Muslim woman, so I've got to get this right, and she is, yes, she is, no, Iranian woman. I gotta get these cultures and these cultures, religions. She's really, really getting me on what is culture and what is religion. And even the things that I believed was religion, she says, no, that's the bad version of the people who don't practice the religion that you all see as culture. So we have really, really cool conversations. And she makes amazing food. And I had the most amazing tea with them tonight. But anyway, she's really struggling. You can see, when someone's invited you into their home, but you can see they've got chaos going on and they're really trying to be polite. And obviously, she's genuinely making me food and things like that. But I can see she's like trying to soak water up and move water. And this is actually a real problem for her. And I thought, well, and we started talking about being a single mum, and I could see that she was getting so upset and feeling so overwhelmed and feeling the pressure of actually being a single mum and not having her rock and her husband and the man that she's left there in the country for and here, and she hasn't got family around her, and she's alone, really. So anyway, I decided to be the man around the house and I thought I'd give it a go. So anyway, I thought of all these things that I've seen on trying to do my washing machine that haven't quite worked, that people have told me that I should do, that if that works, that's not the problem. So straight away I got in, and all of a sudden the water was just pissing everywhere. And I was like, have you got any big towels, anything like that? And she didn't actually have sort of things that like this, and I think she was a bit worried she couldn't wash them if it didn't work. So I quickly went and got it, and I sort of sorted it out and unplugged it and sort of things like that. But we were talking about the roles that people and the dynamics that people have in families. And she's so loving with Elijah. Like, she's so loving, she's so giving. And I was saying to her what I said about the social workers, because I've pulled social services up. It's probably a block filtering machine. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. It was a blocked filter. But I can remember when I first got divorced from Graham, and I was in the middle of setting up this thing with what was called Berries that we had in Leyland. So it's like a B&Q version of a local version of B&Q. So I was talking to them about the toolbox that when people get divorced, and I'm not pro divorce in any way, shape, or form, I'm just being practical. And I said, when people get divorced, women don't ever think about taking the toolbox. So, no, they don't take everything off the men because women just don't think to take the toolbox. It's the first thing that men sort of take, isn't it? It's the men things. And obviously, all of these different things that are going on at the moment, gender neutralization, gender roles, gay, lesbian, all this stuff, paedophilia, love, hate, politics, religion, family, social services, communities, homes, work, jobs, all of this stuff, it's all connected. All the the divide and conquer, the protesting, the things that's all going on, the projections, the rejections, the racism, the persecution, the perjury, the manipulation, the gossip, the he said, she said, my mum's bigger than your mum, my dad's bigger than your dad, I'm going to get my dad on you and you're going to get your dad on you stuff, and the bullying at school and the harassment at work and your piece, it's all connected, isn't it? It is just the fact that if we ask for help, we feel weak. If we feel that we can't do something, we feel that we're useless. We beat ourselves up. We put ourselves down. We battle. We go through these twos and fro's, and we are always in this battle with one's self. Everything around us is nothing more than a projection of our own selves, the world that exists around us. And it's really weird because, like, take the social worker, for example. Oh, lo and behold, the phone's off again. But I bet you tomorrow, because she wants an appointment with me, I bet it's on. And then after that appointment, then I'll ring it and it'll be off again. So they've either got a system for individual people or, I don't know, really weird shit's going on. I don't know. I don't know. And one day I'll start believing one of my neighbours with this grand illusion of the world. But today has just been a day of, I don't know, I'm not panicking about police knocking on my door. I'm not stressing about things. I've still had to be firm with Graham. Graham still sat outside the window because he knows eventually I give in and let him use my phone. It's not that I don't let him use my phone. It's that I've got such boundaries with my kids. Graham's not interested in my personal life. He wants me to help him career-wise. And again, this is connected, isn't it? Because man goes to work. He has his job. He does his job things. He comes home. He has his relationship with his wife, his relationships with his children. Never the twain shall meet. What is your business life and your private life is two separate things. Take Dean for an example. Dean is one of the sort of people that his private life is his fucking private life. That is it. You don't know who he's with. You don't know about his kids. You wouldn't even know their name, which is really difficult then for him to probably deal with somebody that does talk about private lives. So take, say, people who are in, I don't know, take footballers for an example. They're being be called the footballers' wives, aren't they? So then people want to know certain things about the footballers' wives. But what we see in the media is never a true reflection of oneself. Take this for an example, my social media. Take people who've never ever been here before. Never seen me, don't know what I talk about, don't know who I am, don't know who the fuck Kelly Cotton is, what she's got the Red X on her head for, why it's got paint on the top of it. That's just an accident that looks really cool. I might try moving it once, but I was told to leave it, so I've left it. So is it about branding? So obviously take a footballer, it's really cool. You can see a picture of, say, take John Barnes. It's just come right to my John Barnes. Well, that's going back a long time. For anybody who doesn't know who John Barnes is, John Barnes. So anyone who thinks that actually black people never got a chance, John Barnes was playing football when I was a kid. So don't give me racist card shit and people not having opportunities. John Barnes played for England, mate. So maybe we should have John Barnes out talking about Black Lives Matters, because I don't think anybody said John Barnes' life didn't matter when he was playing for Liverpool. I don't remember much racism. I don't remember people saying, well, he's black. I don't really remember much of that. I think it's a new concept that millennials have all created, and a few other people. Um, However, take John Barnes for an example. If I take a photograph of John Barnes, you put his name up, John Barnes, he's got a Liverpool football kit on, he's got a ball and a football, and you're shooting it, and it says John Barnes footballer. You know that's John Barnes footballer, and he may have some hobbies and interests. So he may talk about, can't remember what they are, but he may have family, he may talk about this, he may talk about that. And it's very, very clear. When it's somebody like me who's doing something such as Step Up Britain, who also owns every unit within the cities, and there's going to be a big amalgamation of all the cities going on, and total reconstruction in the UK of what's considered the budget constituency. So there's going to be new borders and new roles within that all the way through over the next. Don't forget, what you've got to remember is a plan was set in the United Nations, in the European doodahs, and in each parliament or control force, whether it be a monarchy, parliament, government, blah, 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 blah. So within each of those sort of structures, there was a decision made by all of those to have sustainability for this country. So we're actually going, so before XR all came out going, way, hello, hello, fire, 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 there needs to be this thing, blah, 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 blah. Then they would all already looking for the whole zero doodah thing. So there was this agenda for sustainability to be achieved by 2030. So they'd basically just gone, right, this is how many people that we've got on this planet. This is what we've got on our system. This is how many people are costing. This is where we, as in we, the people who formalize and construct how the people, so me and you, are going to follow rules, regulations, and guidelines in order for us all to coexist within one large big planet, basically. So we can all go to the park, so we can all have a chance to drive a car, and we can all do these things, and we all know who's going to be responsible for this and who's going to do that and who's going to do that. And that's all structured through here in the UK for people who don't understand the UK system. That's all structured by council. So council, so county council, city council is basically a construction, an amalgamation of government and parliament, which is two different things. They're not the same, but they coincide. So then you've got the Houses of Lords and the Houses of Commons, and then the structures within the monarchy and other things. So basically, we, the human being, so take the American, because people can understand this. So when I talk about the Constitution of America, so basically they came along, they wrote the Constitution of America, the we the people, and this is how they were going to live, and they were all going to be free men, and that's then to be upheld. So even take the Bible, for example, thou shalt not kill. So if thou shalt not kill, therefore there has to be consequences for those who choose that thou will kill. So then they come up with a thing that if somebody murders somebody, therefore there is a penalty for murder, and then there is a system to captivate the person who has done the murdering and bring that person to justice, and therefore there is a victim, and then again justice. So this is the year of justice. For anybody who doesn't understand, this is the year of justice. This is meant to be the time of justice. This is meant to be the time. What is justice? Justice is truth, really, isn't it? It is a person's truth being heard. This is not a proper, correct terminology of justice, but it is a time of justice. So today's been a day off, but even though it's been a day off, it's been a day of my own limiting beliefs within my mind, and sitting here as a person who ultimately is just this one person with this connection to Dean that exists because of the connection that we have with the two boys. And then I have my two boys who I am 100% responsible for. And then there are these people around me. So I said to the social worker, and I was talking to my neighbour about this, that it annoys me that the social worker creates such a bond with my children, for a bond then to be removed the moment she's done her puzzle of the job, because it's causing for my son to grieve. So my son, and I'm talking about Elijah, my son is now struggling to form attachments to people because he feels that he's alone in the world and he doesn't have any friends or family. And even if I explained to Elijah, who's still currently coughing, that I'm his mum and his dad is his dad and we are his family, so that means he has family, everything added to that is a bonus and there will never be anything less than that. But he doesn't get that. So when you've got social workers that sit with them and are affectionate with them and build a bond and they think they're friends, they're not quite explaining to my son the correct boundaries that he needs for interpersonal relationships, something that I've had challenges with. And I'm sure many other people have had challenges with understanding what is a friend, how it works, even discussing with someone today and lots of different people here on whether or not I really want people to know where I'm moving to, or do I just want to disappear and completely shut down and just come back when I finish my book? Do I even want to do my book? Why does anybody want a public life? Why does anybody want to talk about their stuff publicly? I'm not even looking at the camera. I'm talking to myself. I'm reflecting with myself. It's really crazy for a person to be sat, take this phone out of my hands right now, take this phone out, it doesn't exist, it's not there. And there's me sitting at my window just going, wow, Kelly, you know, you had a really good day today. It was really positive. You've managed to do. You've sorted this out. That's really positive. You've even actually managed to. If I was just sitting here talking to myself, people go, oh, God, she's gone mad. People talk out to the Lord. People talk to a connection to thing. There only needs to be one person out there who go, actually, Kelly, I know this that knows this person, and actually this would really help you out with this situation. So take, for example, it would really be so much easier if my car was on the road at the moment, but thanks to South Wales courts, I can't right now. I'm not stopped. It's not a complete wall, but it's an obstacle, and it's a bigger obstacle than my mind and my belief systems can achieve right now. It doesn't mean that I can't. It doesn't mean that somebody in a different situation with a different knowledge and understanding couldn't achieve it. It just means that where I am in my own life with what I'm battling and dealing with, it's more of a complication for me right now than it might be for somebody else to deal with. That doesn't mean that it's less of a situation. It doesn't mean that it's more complicated. It just means that within my existence right now, it's a challenge and it's a piss off, where to somebody else, it may not be. It depends on where you're leaning with personal responsibility and accountability. It's whether you believe that everything around you, you are completely accountable for, or whether or not you are accountable by holding other people responsible. Like, for example, one thing that really pisses me off, is when I first came here, and this is part of what I've been processing before I come off. When I first came here and I was pregnant and I was with Dean, and don't forget, I didn't really know Dean. I'd come from Downing Street with somebody who told me I need to go and sort my shit out, and I listened because it was the first person to make any sense to me. But when I came here and the social worker asked me, as they do, what's your worst fear? I said, my worst fear is putting my life together with somebody again, money, life and everything, and them leaving and I'm left with debt and having to start again. That was my worst fear. Because one of the things that annoyed me when I was with Aaron and Faith's dad was I had no way of holding him accountable for the fact that he came into my life, we came into each other's lives. However, as the man, he took over the responsibility of the fact that I was the income person coming in, and he took that over, removed my carers as well because he took over that responsibility. And then, of course, I then learn that bills are not paid. And then, of course, I even end up with a Provident loan that I took out in my name for him that he didn't then pay. And then when we separated, I was the person, even though there was joint debts and separate debts, I was the person left with the responsibility of it all. Hang on, got to deal with my notes. Oh, hello, sweetheart. Do you need to go for a wee wee? Do you need a wee wee, darling? Oh, I'll catch you guys later. Oh, no.